Good morning, guys. Hopefully the audio is bang on. I've got my AirPods and I've also fixed the Beats headphones. So I always have a plan B, right? So the big three is what I'm going to go through today. And when I say the big three, I don't actually mean a triathlon, cycling, running, and swimming, or I don't mean bench press, deadlift, and squat. I don't mean that. What I mean is the three different things that we do when we want to create change, when we want to develop, grow, and live our best life. We want to achieve our goals. I guess you could say when we want to feel even more fulfilled in how we look, how we feel, and how we show up, right? So the big three. And for context, I do hope the audio is good. I'll check it later on. And if it's not, then I'll just go back to the headphones. What I've done, I've prepared, I've planned, I'm initiating, and then I reflect. And they are your big threes. Examples of this are everywhere, least of all, the most obvious with my headphones. So, one of the posts I made last week, I mentioned, good morning. One of the posts I think on a couple, I put, the call to action was just do it. Famous Nike slogan. And, sometimes we can overly plan, overly prepare. We can get analysis paralysis. We can want to control all the variables, even though the reality is that control is just perception. I mean, we can't control lots of different things, but it's something that we can grasp and we can wish to have. And we do want a degree of certainty. That is a separate subject, but we do want to have some safety, you could say. Control can often be the pursuit of safety through certainty. So again, that's a separate subject and one which I'm just going to touch on. But I'm actually going to move on to, at least at the beginning of this video, this just do it thing, right? The Nike advert. And it's a very Western approach to implementation due to information overload, due to the constant pursuit of success, social media. I guess materialism comes into play a little bit. Externalization. I mean, look at me. I've got AirPods. I've got Beats headphones. I'm branded up, right? Nelson, come here. Never mind. Morning, mate. So, the just do it thing is fine. There we go. One moment. He's got his fishing. He's got his camera on and decent setup. I love a good plan. That guy's planned. He's prepared. He's turned up. He's got the right gear. He's got the camera for when he catches a fish. So he's very intentional. I mean, I do hope he catches a fish. It might be recording. Again, he's got these intentions. He's planning. He's preparing. What an amazing metaphor. Let's move on. So the just do it thing, right? Now, yeah, if you're a bit thick, or you're a bit numb, or you're a bit like, yeah, just do it, obviously, crack on. If you're not doing anything, move. I get that. But it's a very Western approach because, I mean, look at me. I've got more headphones than I need. Just do it. Just buy it. Sometimes we can do things and it's not necessarily the best, including buying things. We've got more things than ever. One of the benefits of me actually coaching people is we see that the benefit is our experience and the results we get. We don't need more things. I was reading an email today from some awesome guy. And he's like, if you work with me, you'll get this and you'll get that and you'll get this and you'll get that. And I'm just like, oh, I don't need another app. I don't need another list. I don't need things, right? We don't need things. So the just do it has a place. The implementation 100% is massively important. The big three are to plan, to implement, and to reflect. They are the big three. So I'm not going to deny the benefit, all right? But that said, the Nike advert of just do it actually originates from, I'm not sure if it was a murderer, someone on death row. before they killed him and electrocuted him, he was like, "Let's do it." And a marketer saw it and was inspired. So some of this stuff is actually originated in not the most positive of places, right? Let's do it. And then someone was inspired by that because he was up for getting executed. People didn't want to go through with it, but he was like, no, let's do it. Yeah, interesting fact of the day. Now, when it comes to planning, and I was watching yesterday a weightlifter, 2002 World Championships, a guy called Manuel Mingenfeld from the Federated State of Micronesia, all the way down in the near New Zealand, near Samoa, where I've been. I'm going from a honeymoon in 3 years' time. And I was watching him, little small dude, right? Now, where he comes from, Federated State of Micronesia, the tiny island, right? Obviously, it's called Micronesia. I think it's a tiny bunch of a few islands, and they're sailors, typically called, I think, truckies. I think that's what they were called. And Manuel Mingenfeld, I once met him. Really small dude, about 4'7", world champion, absolutely strong as an ox. Had a great tattoo on his right shoulder. So awesome guy as well. Bit of an alky by all accounts from what his coach told me. Had to ban him a couple of times from the gym because he was out of order. Anyway, so the truckies, they were sailors, all right? So on the one hand, we've got this Western just do it, and I get that, and we've got the distraction of the materialistic perspective of things which create overwhelm. But then we've got the truckies, and they're a little bit different. So they don't just do it because it's part of their culture. And what we're talking about here, by the way, just for context, is we're talking about the big three. Morning, mate. Morning. Behave, come on. Yeah, I'm watching my dog's behavior like I'm watching my own, and hopefully we're improving each other's, right? So, it's all right. Just for context, if it feels a little bit like I'm going a bit left and a bit right, I'm talking about planning, doing, and reflecting, and the cultural norms that can influence on that, and something that you could call structuration, in the sense that we have norms, we have cultures, we have expectations, you could say, and then we have individual actions, behaviors, and habits. We can influence the bigger picture, but the bigger picture influences us. And it's up to you what you do, but it's helpful for me to just kind of go through this so that you've got the knowledge and information to be able to ask yourself a very powerful question, which is, what do I really want? So let's move on. Manuel Mingenfeld, Federated State of Micronesia, the sailors, the truckies. They wasn't just do it. Flipping sailors, you just do it. You don't plan, you don't reflect. You're gonna flipping be, you're gonna come unstuck, aren't you? You need to know what you're doing. But what they did do, because when you sail, the weather changes and the environment constantly changes. They looked at the stars. That's how they, for thousands of years, got around. Constant reflection, looking around, assessing each and every step of the way. So we've got this just do it Nike advert, and then we've got the reflection, these sailors, right? Now, when we plan as an aside to gain certainty, which is important, then what we want to be doing is using a little bit of both. Morning, mate. If you was a truckie, you would be wise to consider how you can improve in your implementation. If you're a Westerner, say you're American, 72% of Americans are overweight or obese, they would be wise to do some more planning in their exercise and food choices, things like that, right? Whatever you're not doing, then do. For example, and it's not necessarily men or women, but planning is quite a feminine practice. And again, it's not a judgment on man or woman, it's just like terms of energy, I guess you could say. And doing is quite masculine. It's like, let's go. we do want to be using a little bit of one and a little bit of the other, and then reflecting. So that said, I've kind of gone through a few different things today. My main overall point, and if you've listened to this far and it's kind of making a bit more sense, let me give you the certainty, the punchline, I guess you could say like the braingasm, right? And that you can go and use because it's the 21st of December. Not sure if we're talking about weight loss, Mike, or fitness, but you know what? Should be talking about pigs in blankets and all that jazz, right? Here is it's not the point, but a point to this conversation. Yes, it's important to plan. All right. Yes, it's important to plan. If you're a planner, perhaps you want to be just focusing on doing, taking that leap of faith, getting on with it. You learn by doing anyway. So there's another level of experiential learning. But that said, if you're someone who focuses on doing, then putting a plan in place will support you with the thing that you already do. But another level of consideration is if you're doing both, you're setting plans, you're taking action, but you're not reflecting or tracking. You know, for example, right? I help people to drop body fat, transform their mindset, and improve their lifestyle. Like, you're damn straight that I have a weight tracker. You know, you're damn straight that I ask them what's the number on the scales. You know, and if someone's like, oh, it's not, you know, they wouldn't be like that because they're in my program, right? They're amazing guys that I support. But if someone's like, it's not that important, well, no, but it's one of the big three. We want to be able to assess, to reflect, to then set these goals, intentions, and take the action so that we can get where we want to be, right? Otherwise, what's the flipping point? So, the third one, you've got planning, doing, and reflecting. Now, within reflecting, there's kind of like three levels in the sense that if you reflect yourself, which is fine, one sec. Those of you that watch my videos, you'll know them as the calories in, calories out brigade. Yeah, every person that's got a nutrition qualification or personal trainer in the world, just calories in, calories out. You know, that's how you lose weight. And yet we've got an obesity crisis and people struggling more than ever, right? Yeah. Right. Calories in, calories out. So much more than that. So there's one way of doing it, which is like on your own. Okay, so you can reflect. That's very good. I would heavily encourage that. Heck, I'd heavily encourage doing all this on your own. Like, absolutely. Like 100%. That's why I'm making this video. That's level one. Level two is having somebody else to be able to support you with the reflection. Because we're in our head, we can have inaccurate conclusions. We can have sometimes blinkered vision. And also, it's easy for us to compare naturally to other people as a way of measuring our progress. So sometimes when I'm on a coaching call with a client, they will mention somebody else and I will challenge them. I'll just say, okay, just so I'm clear, like, why is that important? Sometimes it is, you know, it's useful, but sometimes it isn't. I just want to know why we're talking about somebody else. And again, you know, it's not right or wrong, but that can be easy for us all to do in life, in health, in business, like everywhere, right? Absolutely. So having somebody else to reflect is definitely a supportive mechanism. Footnote, that person hopefully knows what they're doing. All right. COVID and the world that we live in, not everyone actually, unfortunately, wishes you well, and not everyone knows what they're doing. Okay, that's not being negative, that's just being, unfortunately, aware that, you know, oh, I can help you lose weight. Yeah, right. Anyway, and I can say that because I've actually lost 103 pounds, right? It's not as easy as the people that have never lost weight will have you believe, because they believe something based on their experience. If you ain't done it, like, no, like you don't know, like 100%. Anyway, final point, third level of reflection. Third level of reflection is when we go back and we look at the person that we was at the beginning of the process, because whatever we're trying to do in our health, in our life, in our goals, the aim is always to come out of the process as a better version of you, which is a different version of you. I'm not the person I was 5 years ago. I'm not the person I was before COVID. 12 weeks of my coaching and you will be a different person as well. Speak to you tomorrow.